Phew, am I nervous? But I am nervous only for one reason, and that is because I'm in front of Amitians. I know for a fact that you all, Amitians, are not just a couple of notches above the rest. You are the best. All the same, I feel privileged today to be here in front of you and share my thoughts on marketing and sales. In particular, Shakespeare's Julius Caesar and Mark Antony's speech as a case study. Marketing is inborn in all of us. But what we do with this talent is entirely up to us. Some of us do not even know of our own marketing strengths, or others do not realize that consciously or unconsciously we are using the marketing techniques in our daily lives. Understanding marketing and its techniques helps us in using marketing and sales knowledge consciously and with a purpose. How many of us have noticed a small child use their marketing techniques differently with different individuals to get what they want? You can notice a small child act differently with the mother and using a different technique with the father to get what they want. A child may cry to get the mother's attention, but the same child might use a smile to get the father's attention and make both the parents do what they really want. These are all marketing techniques to get what the individual wants. We have all used such techniques to sell ourselves in various situations of our lives. Whether it was with our parents or to impress our girlfriend or boyfriend, as the case may have been, or at times at an interview to get the job. Such marketing techniques have been employed by all of us to sell ourselves. When we hear the marketing gurus talk, is it always that we are hearing something new? More number of times, it is an idea that we knew about, but had not related the same to marketing, or had not focused our mind to the point that the guru is making. While studying marketing, what we actually try to achieve is to adapt our mind and focus to the subject, to understand the environment, to weigh the competition, to sell an idea as a novel idea, or at times to wrap an old idea in a new perspective and give a color that it will be accepted in the current situation. The ultimate goal remains the same: sell. In my 38 years of professional experience, one case that has motivated me and inspired me the most has been Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, and more importantly, the Mark Antony's speech in the term of marketing and sales. In my opinion, Shakespeare, though is known for his literary genius, was a marketing genius as well. If we use the speech of Mark Antony in Julius Caesar as a case study, one can only come to a common conclusion of Shakespeare's marketing genius. It is imperative that we know the background and the situation to analyze the point that I am trying to make. Shakespeare wrote Julius Caesar sometime in the late 16th century. The year 1599 is known as the year that he wrote Julius Caesar. Among all his works of Shakespeare, it is only Julius Caesar that is situation-based. All of his other works are character-based. The plot is on Rome during the time of Julius Caesar, his assassination, and the aftermath. The historians look at this aspect differently, while the scholars have hailed Shakespeare and his literary genius. But what I wish to discuss today with you all is Mark Antony's speech from a marketing angle. To give just a small background for the benefit of those who have either not read the book or are not aware of the history, Julius Caesar was one of the very popular rulers of Rome, and he was assassinated in the year 44 BC. It was a democratic rule in Rome during that time, and the Senate was supreme. He was not proclaimed as a king. Whether he wanted to proclaim himself as a king or not is for the historians to debate about. The fact is that he was killed in the Senate by conspirators. Among them was Brutus. Now, Brutus was a very noble man, and he was well respected and was very close to Julius Caesar at the same time. Those words, "Et tu, Brutus, then fall Caesar," meaning, "You too, Brutus, then fall Caesar." These are the words that Julius Caesar uttered when Brutus stabbed him. The word of Brutus was never doubted in Rome, and his loyalty to Rome was as unquestionable. Brutus was convinced that Julius Caesar is going to proclaim himself as a king. And he stabbed Julius Caesar with the noble conviction that he was doing it for the good of Rome. To quote, "Not that I loved Caesar less, but I loved Rome more." Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves than that Caesar were dead to live all free men? These are the words that Brutus gave during his speech to the common people of Rome, justifying and giving the reason for killing Caesar. During the same time, Mark Antony was another Senate member, and he was also very close to Caesar. He was an ambitious man. He was not among the conspirators, but accepted the situation. And to discuss the Mark Antony's speech further, let us look at situation. What was the situation? Caesar was killed in the Senate. Word goes around, and there is a big crowd in front of the Senate. Brutus comes out and speaks to the crowd, giving them the reason for killing Caesar. Now, Brutus was a very noble man, and his love for Rome was known to everyone. After Brutus gives the reasons for killing Caesar, the whole crowd is hailing Brutus. They are all convinced that what Brutus has done is for the good of Rome. They are all hailing Brutus as the next leader. I do not want to question the integrity of Antony, but only to analyze his speech from marketing and sales angle. Mark Antony had requested that he be allowed to speak outside the same Senate and carried the body of Caesar outside. What Mark Antony did was seize the opportunity. In marketing, we must always look at the opportunity after understanding the situation. There is never a similar situation. Market is so dynamic and it's so ever-changing that the conditions and the situations keep on changing very fast. The successful strategy that might have been used a year earlier, or maybe even a few months earlier, may not be successful anymore. Why? Because this change is there in the situation. The opportunity that the earlier situation provided may not be relevant at this very time. Hence, the opportunity must be studied in the current perspective. And the opportunity seized, looking at the opportunity and looking at the market situation for success. This may be very easy to say, but in practice, it needs a lot of clear thinking and the right decision to be made at that time, understanding the situation, understanding the opportunity that exists at that very time. If you do that, such a strategy has a greater success rate. When Mark Antony gets ready to speak, He's faced with a crowd that is already convinced that Caesar's death is for the good of Rome. He probably would not have been heard by the same crowd had it not been for Brutus to have requested the same crowd to stay for Mark Antony to speak and listen to Mark Antony. One can imagine the situation. The crowd is not even prepared to hear him. The same crowd is hailing Brutus for what he has done. But Mark Antony, what does he do? He is seeking to speak, to get that opportunity. And when Mark Antony speaks, what he does is to demonstrate to us the importance of communication. Friends, Romans and countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with the bones. So let it be with Caesar. Could there have been a more attention-catching lines than these? Just try and replace the words, lend me your ears, with a different line. Will it have the same impact? He could have said, friends, Romans and countrymen, hear me out. Does it bring the same impact? Is it that attention getter? The answer, I'm sure you will all agree, is a big no. Communication is by far the most important element in marketing and sales. It is not what we say, but also how we say that carries the impact and brings in success. The choice of words is important, but then if the delivery is not correct, the same words lose their importance. The communication must not only be crisp, but also forceful to have the desired success. To create that aura, to be able to tell your own story, and to be an attention getter. The success depends on what you say, and more importantly, how you say it. From communication, what Mark Antony also demonstrates is another very important point on marketing and sales, and that is self-conviction. In marketing, if there is no self-conviction, there is no possibility of success. One must first believe in his or her own self. And it is your self-conviction that is going to be transmitted to the others, to believe in you, or to believe in what you are saying. Falsehood is often caught, either in voice, mannerism, deeds, how you put it. The age-old saying, you cannot fool everybody all the time, is so true. How many times have we seen that the best of the actors not able to carry a role? And this comes from lack of self-conviction. The sincerity and the truth of conviction is infectious and spreads far and wide. If you are able to convince yourself of your sincerity and purpose, you will be increasing the chances of succeeding to convince others. Having understood the opportunity that was given to him, and having the self-conviction in him, Mark Antony then goes to talk in his speech about the competition and how he does that, how well he does that. Competition should always be studied and understood. After all, in this dynamic market, your success is always at the expense of someone else's. You are taking someone else's market share. So, product positioning becomes very important. Against what are you pitted? Whose share are you going to take? How is the competitor perceived to be in the market? Mark Antony was aware that he is pitted against Brutus. And Brutus was regarded as a very honorable man, and whose integrity and love for Rome could never be doubted upon. The strategy that Mark Antony used was that he did, to ensure that he does not undermine the fact of Brutus being honorable directly. To quote, I would rather wrong the dead, wrong myself and you, than to wrong such honorable men. Brutus said that Caesar was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. How many times did Mark Antony repeat about Brutus being an honorable man? He drove the point of Brutus being an honorable man to give the word honorable to actually mean as dishonorable. To quote, I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke. But then Mark Antony is doing exactly that. He did not try to cut his competition openly, but to use the same to position himself higher. We should learn from this. Never criticize the competitor. Sell your own product or yourself on the merit of that product, and not by pointing the deficiencies in that of the competitor's product. You do not grow big by cutting the legs of competition, but you go big by uplifting your own self, uplifting your product to a higher position, to a higher platform than that of competitor. That's what Mark Antony did. However, lately I notice that the unwritten law or unwritten rule that we used to follow of never to name your competitor or never to name your competitor's product. This is being, I shouldn't say flouted, but people are using this word. We find ads naming the competitor's product and trying to compare the shortfalls of the competitor's product with the strength of their own product. But they seem to have missed the Mark Antony's point. But Brutus is an honorable man. A very good example would be, in the last couple of years, you would have all seen the war between the two cola giants. What did it bring? They kept on talking about each other's product. And in the end, what it did was, it grew the market of the lemon drink. They forgot that rule or forgot what Shakespeare had said. But Brutus was an honorable man. Mark Antony then proceeds further by using another very important tool in marketing and sales, and that is emotion. Emotion is a tool that can be used very powerfully. He describes the wounds on the body of Caesar as if he was present there at the time when Julius Caesar was stabbed, while actually he was not. To quote, "Look in this place run Cassius' dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed." Unquote. Let us all agree to this point that we are all humans. And humans have emotions. These emotions can be used in a positive manner or in a negative manner. But whichever way it is taken, one cannot overlook the importance of emotions. Selling without emotions is like eating bland food. One eats the bland foods, but not necessarily enjoys it. Emotions are the salt and sugar. It evokes certain parameters in us and help in bonding with the person, with the product, bonding with the situation, as the case may be. This is a very powerful tool, and it can be subtly used in the communication and thereby increase the chances of success. Shakespeare used this to the hilt in Mark Antony's speech, and to his advantage. He stirred the public towards revenge and revolt against Brutus and company. To quote, "O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I will wrong such honorable men." Unquote. The same public that not a while back had hailed Brutus as the savior is now stirred to revolt, rage, and mutiny. Mark Antony sowed the seed by calling for it and saying that he does not want to do that, while actually that is exactly what he wanted. Can there be a better example of marketing? Another marketing tool or technique that Shakespeare used in Mark Antony's speech is suspense, inquisitiveness, interest building. During the speech, Mark Antony subtly introduces the aspect of Caesar's will. However, after mentioning it, he does not go ahead to read it, but makes excuses for not reading the same. To quote, "Have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. It is not meet that you know how Caesar loved you. You are not wood, you are not stones, but men." How cleverly has Shakespeare woven around a web of mystery in the speech of Mark Antony. He talks about the will, but does not read it till the end. In marketing, a simple rule is hold attention. The longer you are able to hold attention, the greater the success or the chance of success. You may be stating a fact, but what is important point is how you deliver the fact. The aura you build around it, the story you unfold. A beautiful lady under a veil is far more intriguing and thought-provoking than itself. Marketing and sales is like a path that you take towards achieving your goal. There may be different paths leading towards the goal, but what choice and which path you take, that is the important decision. And that is what brings in success or failure. For if you are confused, you will be only walking down one path and retrieving your steps backwards to take a different path. And then maybe again retrieve your steps backward. You not only waste your time, but also your energy finance, and most importantly, the opportunity. Was it not this word that we started the talk with? There is nothing new in what I have stated. The points that I have described are probably being done more forcefully and in a much better manner by so many others. But it is more from my belief of sharing my experience and interpreting Mark Antony's speech from sales and marketing angle, and how this has not only helped me but been instrumental towards the success that I taste in my life today. Ponder over it, and more importantly, learn how to consciously use the marketing tools or marketing techniques that we all have, that the knowledge that you're gaining by studying this subject, apply it from the point of view as examples. Most of the case studies that you would be studying, a similar circumstance or a similar situation or a similar opportunity there. But what you learn by studying marketing and sales is to apply your mind in the right direction, to understand the opportunity that is there in front of you, and more importantly, to take the right decisions. For if you do that, success is for sure. Look at yourselves as givers rather than takers. You all are the future of not only India, but the future of this world. When you ponder and try to go deeper into Mark Antony's speech in Julius Caesar by Shakespeare, probably you'll understand a little better how things can be changed. Seeking the opportunity, having the self-conviction, having the communication, and understanding the competitor, positioning your own product rightly. If you all can do that, success is at your doorstep. Sorry, success is already in. Thank you.